Mhm. Hello, YouTube, and me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another live commentary. This one's going to be a long one because this one's over 2 hours. Hopefully, I do it in one part, and that is Godzilla King of the Monsters. The new one's coming out in a couple weeks. I want to see this one and Godzilla versus Kong before I get to the new movie. This one's, I think, the longest, so let's get it done. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes. So you could join me in the chat this time. I have the chat open, but be nice. I don't have time for BS today. I really want to just get this done. This is the first one I saw in the theater because after the 2014 movie, and the last one I was seeing in theater because when Godzilla versus Kong came out, it was on streaming because some theaters were still not open yet. There's the roar. Hearing the Akira Fukube's music in this movie, I had chills. Some people said that was boring. I'm like, yeah, it's not the best of the four films. Josh thinks it's the best. It's fine. Yeah, San Francisco 2014. And the thing is, these movies keep changing the cast in every single entry. In the first movie, you had Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen. They're never mentioned again in this one. And Kyle Chandler, his daughter is the British chick that's in Stranger Things. That didn't make any sense. Vera Farmiga I didn't like in this movie either. So the human characters are very hit and miss. I really like the cast in Kong Skull Island, but they don't come back because they're MCU actors. Good morning, heterosexual man. It's been a while. This movie still, the effects are still good, and I'm very happy. Congratulations to Godzilla for finally getting an Oscar for the visuals. The Godzilla Minus One is an Oscar-winning movie. I'm very happy about that. As a fan of the franchise for decades, this is a really good victory for me. Also, in the other movie, in Godzilla versus Kong, yeah, Millie comes back and her father, who's in a cameo, but the only ones coming back in the new one is Rebecca Cough Medicine, Brian Tyree Henry, and the Asian girl that's deaf. But that's it, though. Are they the greatest characters of all time? Not really. I like Brian Tyree Henry because he's a conspiracy theorist and he's cool. Monster movies do not need Brits. The only Brit that mattered was Tom Hiddleston in Kong Skull Island because he committed. You get a bunch of white people in a American remake of a Japanese monster movie. Why? You could have gotten American actors like in the remake, like Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria and Jean Reno. You can at least get something. Millie Bob Brown, I'm not a fan, guys. Some people are a fan of Stranger Things. I'm not. Damsel, my sister's going to see it later. It's not for me. Sorry. I don't have to be a fan of every brick that's around the thing. Kyle Chandler was good in other films. I think he was in Super 8. Yeah. He was the dad there. He had more screen time in that than in Godzilla versus Kong. Because really, why is she here? She's there to stare at the monsters and just run around. That's it. No character development. She's not sexy because she was a teenager at the time. And Vera Farmiga, I don't like her either. So really, there's no win. If you cut these characters, the movie will be under 2 hours. That's why the new movie is way shorter. Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, is about an hour and 55 minutes. That is way shorter than this one, by like 20 minutes. I have Natalie Portman. I'm fine. I don't need you. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want this to be a Brit bash for 2 hours and 15 minutes or 12 minutes. People watch these monster movies for the monsters, for the effects and the spectacle and the monsters. I could take or leave the human characters. I really don't care. Sorry, that's why Kong Skull Island was my favorite because it's got the best cast. You have Samuel Jackson, John C. Reilly, John Goodman, Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, and Thomas Mann. There's a much better cast than this. They're fun, they're actors from the MCU. This girl's not going to be in the MCU. There was a rumor that she was going to be in Eternals. I'm glad she wasn't. That movie was overstuffed with bentos and it was hurting me, and it was too long. This movie is long, but it's not too long. It's basically the running time of The Rise of Skywalker, but less painful. Because even though I'm not a Millie Bobby Brown fan, she didn't rape me. She's only a little girl. Well, she's like almost 20 now, but whatever. Here comes the earthquake. You could have cast any American or Canadian actress; it would have been the same performance. But you don't have to fake the accent. That's the problem here. That is the problem. Because Charles Dance's in this movie, he didn't come back because he's old. You know, you don't need to put every actor from Game of Thrones or Stranger Things or Breaking Bad in a monster movie. Nobody cares. Nobody cares because this one was the lowest grossing of the 4 films that have come out. Uh, Godzilla 2014, this one, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla vs. Kong. This is the one that made the least amount of money. Gee, I wonder why. Well, it was a year before the pandemic. Oh, look, Yunnan rainforest in China. Even Sally Hawkins, why is she in this movie? Oh, yeah, because in this one she has to die. Just saying, guys, you can do better casting than this, than generic white people staring at the monsters for 2 hours. There's Mothra. Mothra's also, one thing this movie did wrong is that they had to say the names of the monsters on screen, even though I already know who these monsters are. I saw these movies before you were born, Millie, and the rest of you. I saw these movies when I was a kid. Most of them. Godzilla vs. Mothra, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Monster Zero. I saw all of those as a kid. Plus, Vera Farmiga is not British. She's Ukrainian descent. Hey, Spidey. We're only about 6 minutes in. We got a long way to go. This is the longest podcast I've done. So there was a black lead in Monsterverse with a film with an Asian girl would be mixed results. No, I said Brian Tyree Henry was good in the last film. He just needs to be in it more. And the Asian girl is deaf, so I'm not gonna hold anything against her. She has a disability. At least she can act with her face. Because interracial doesn't usually work in creature features. Well, Brits don't work either, Josh, because they're just boring. They don't add anything to the movie. They just pad the running time. We want to watch the monsters. In the Japanese versions, most of the characters, well, are hit and miss, but in the original Godzilla, they were interesting. Ogata and Dr. Serizawa, the original, and even Emiko, she's the emotion behind both of those characters. Without that, that movie's just a drama with a monster stomping on buildings. You got to have somebody you care about. Mothra looks great as a baby, by the way. This is the larva form, and the original looked cute. Jet Jaguar, they'll probably put him eventually, but it's going to be CG. I don't mind that the monsters are CG. They were going to do that. Someone like Naya. No, I would love to see Naya in something. She's actually Asian. Asians fit in this because it's an Asian franchise. It's like Power Rangers. Why would you cast Brits to be in Power Rangers as the main characters? No. We don't need it. That's what I hated about the 2017 movie. Yes, Josh, the same writer that wrote Morbius and wrote Madam Web did Power Rangers 2017, and it's atrocious. It was too long. The suits looked terrible, except for the Blue Ranger. The casting was wrong. The effects sucked. It was just a disaster. The 1995 movie had data CG, but it had the essence of the show. That 2017 movie can bite me. It was so terrible. It was nothing like the show. They try to make it this dark, dramatic sci-fi drama, and that's not what Power Rangers is about, guys. It's not. It's supposed to be lighthearted and fun, and have some occasional darkness to it. That's a little bit, a spoonful of it, not a freaking gallon of it. How dare they say she looks like Natalie Portman? Portman won an Oscar. You never will. You're a kid. You're a TV actress, a streaming actress. That's why Damsel was on Netflix and not in the theaters. Yeah, Caitlyn is a better choice for me, Josh, personally. It's just Naya with a black guy should to threaten the audience. No, it wouldn't, Josh, because what if she kisses a black guy in the next Monster High movie? Because, these Monsterverse movies, I only have 3 of them. I can do Kong Skull Island, but I don't want to stream it because then I could get a copyright infringement because of the music. This Mothra is actually scary. They only put her in this because of Stranger Things. That there's monsters in that too. Yeah, I know. But Finn Wolfhard did Ghostbusters. That made sense. He was dressed as a Ghostbuster in Stranger Things, and he's a Ghostbuster. That was fate. You don't have to put something from a show in the movie. What's next? You're gonna put Sydney did Euphoria, right? You're not gonna put her in a drama that's the same thing, with teens in trouble. I'm like, she's 26, guys. She's not a teen anymore. Beautiful girl, but she needs to be in something more age appropriate, like a college film or something like that. Yeah. Get out of my movie. The monsters look great, even in CG. I mean, that didn't bother me in the theater. The score is amazing. When I heard that theme in the theater, I had chills. Naya's a good actress and she's beautiful and she can and she can act. She doesn't have to hide an accent for 2 hours like Gemma Chan. Gemma Chan is the worst Asian actress I've ever seen. That's supposed to be an actress, not a model that turned into an actress. No. See, Mike, I already told you that she'd be distracted. No, she won't be distracted. Caitlin can't do monster films. You don't know that, Josh, because no one will save you is kind of a creature feature because it's an alien trying to harass her. So it's like the movie Signs, but with a smaller budget and less dialogue. Look at the Mutos from the first movie. I remember that. I was in the theater seeing that. This Tom Middleditch. I like him, but he doesn't do much in the movie. He's a funny Canadian actor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Titans. This is not a boring scene. They're telling about the monsters. Ken Watanabe was good here because he's actually Japanese, but why did they kill him off? Or the CCH Pounder? I think that guy was in the first movie too, the 2014 movie. If that was a bomb, and plus I don't like that director, Garrett Edwards. He likes to make movies slow and boring. I didn't see the creator because of him. Seismic Sun. Kaiju. I'm gonna see it, Josh. I'm waiting until spring because I have a lot of podcasts to do and a lot of reviews to do. I had to give Caitlin love since she kind of bailed. I didn't bailed on her. I posted a picture of her yesterday. Naya kisses a monster black. Well, this is his franchise. He started it, and he's gonna finish it. Because Kong didn't get a sequel. He got a spinoff with Godzilla. He didn't get a Kong Skull Island 2. I mean, what's next? You're gonna put Idris Elba in one of these movies? We saw him already in Thor, and he's Knuckles now, so he's fine. Movie is not like Godzilla's Revenge. No, this doesn't have stock footage. They show some scenes from the first movie to connect it. That's it. But they're short. They're not like half the movie is stock footage, and it's laughable. Look, wolves or coyotes? I think those are coyotes in Colorado. Because Kyle Chandler was wasted in Godzilla versus Kong. He does nothing. I love seeing Vanessa Hudgens at the Oscars. She was beautiful. She was pregnant and had a black dress. She looked amazing. I wanted a rubber belly like BB-8. Charles Dance. Because really, Sally Hawkins dies in this movie, and I felt nothing. I'm like, what? Wow, she died because of Ghidorah? Yeah, I didn't see that coming. Because Godzilla versus Kong was short. It was an hour and 48 minutes, not 2 hours long. It's not like the acting sucks in this movie. It doesn't. It's not the problem. It's just there's a lot of talking. And that's what people hated about the remake from 98 and also the remake of Kong from 2005. It's a lot of talking before we get to the monster action. And that's a big problem now. Yeah. Dune is doing well, but it's not going to make $1 billion like Mario because that movie had jokes and it had, references and it was had fun to it. It was short too. It's not 2 hours and 12 minutes. Not everything needs to be an epic, guys. You can do your epic in under 2 hours and it is fine. That's why with Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, which is coming out next Friday, I will see it. I'm giving my honest review and I will not hold anything back. And the running time is an hour and 49 minutes. That is mercifully short. It's like an hour shorter than Dune. So, part two. So, I'm happy about that. I can't call these movies terrible because they're not terrible. They're well made. The production is there, and the effects are good, and the direction is a lot better than the 2014 movie because that movie was very very slow. This one was done by Michael Dougherty. Yeah, he did a better job than Garrett Edwards because he didn't have to hide Godzilla's fight scenes in this one. Yep, 17. In the original series, there's a lot of monsters: Hedorah, Megalon, Gigan. What else? The you have Gabra. You have Amanda. There's a lot of monsters in the franchise from every series. I know the monsters. You don't have to name them on screen every 2 seconds. Like him saying Gojira makes sense. He's Japanese, but when they say Monster Zero, I'm like, I know who that is. You don't have to say it. You know, this looks like the Meg 2, the trench. I'll eventually do those. Why do people hate Godzilla 98? Because he doesn't look like him, and then they thought the human characters were annoying. I can tolerate them more. At least they don't have a bunch of accents like in this movie. Jean Reno does, but he's French. He's from Morocco, so I can excuse it. Plus, he was awesome in that movie. He actually does something in the plot. He's not standing at a screen and saying, "Oh, look what's happening." Exposition fairy. No, he's not like that. He's a character of action. He does things. As you know, yeah. Again, please don't say that. There's a Zhang Ziyi from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Rush Hour 2, but she doesn't do anything either. I'm not saying I want these people to grab guns and start shooting, but do something. Don't just stare at a screen. Hey, that's Anthony Ramos. I forgot he was in this movie. Also, Ice Cube's son is in this movie as well. You know, O'Shea Jackson Jr. Him, I remember. I'm with you, John. If you want to put scenes that I have talking, at least to make them short. Yeah, this is a lot of buildup before we get to the monster action. About an hour in, it's better pace than the first one because you don't have to wait an hour and a half to see the monsters. But again, Godzilla versus Kong threw you right in. We didn't have to wait an hour to see the fight, and also Kong was actually in the movie. He's not like in the background. They know how to use him well. They don't underuse him in his own film. Because even some of the MCU movies, I admit, some of them have way too much talking. You don't have to. The Marvels was fine with the short running time. You don't have to explain everything going on. If we read the comics or know the characters, we don't need. I saw the Oscars, the red carpet. I only saw the red carpet because it's too long. You can't kill Godzilla. He's indestructible. Even though Zhang Ziyi is Chinese, not Japanese, but it's close enough. You know, Asian is Asian here, and it follows. It's a lot more. It melts better with this franchise than a bunch of Bintos who just are there. Yeah, that's Anthony Ramos and O'Shea Jackson Jr. I forgot about because he was in. Anthony was in Transformers last year. Ice Cube's son's a good actor. He was also in one of the Star Wars shows. I think he was in Obi-Wan Kenobi. He wasn't ghetto. They didn't make him the comic relief. He was actually giving a performance in that. Because in Godzilla in Kong Skull Island, Samuel Jackson's there to Kong, and John C. Riley is there to introduce him to the things on the island, and he's having fun. He's a man that wants to go back home. He has an arc. What's the arcs of these characters? Millie's looking for her father. Yeah, again, in the second movie, that doesn't matter. Uh, Vera Farmiga, she's the villain of the movie. It's not even the monster; she is. And I'm like, really, a human female villain that I don't care about is going to be the villain that's supposed to be a mom? Yeah, it didn't do it for me. I was just not invested. There's a lot of buildup in this, and then that's why I had to do this one early because it's a long movie. It's over 2 hours long. It's the longest of the four films. Zhang Zi was very beautiful. Crouching Tiger. I haven't seen the first one. And Memoirs of a Geisha. Yeah, yeah. I know what his son has been in with Elizabeth once. Sounds like you got a problem with Vera. In this movie, I do, Josh. In this movie, because in other films, she's a love interest or she actually follows something. I don't buy her as a villain. Got it? There. I'm going to say it slowly so you can follow. Not a good villain. Sorry, Charles Dance could have been the villain or Ghidorah. You don't need a human villain in a monster movie like this. Again, I know who it is, and they didn't. They only called him that once. See, they stare at it to just say the names of the monsters. I know who the monsters are, guys. You don't have to point it out to me. I'm not a kid anymore. Who wrote this movie? It's not the writers of Morbius. I know that for sure. That's a stupid movie that didn't. It's Max Borenstein, Michael Dougherty, and Zach Shields. I never heard of them. Well, not Zach Shields and Borenstein. You only need one writer. I don't think you need three or four. Because Dance has no excuses either. He did Ghostbusters 2016, which was atrocious. I know it's bad. I don't have to see it. I'm skipping that one when I get to after the Frozen Empire because I don't want to see the sexist movie. I don't need to see that. I've seen enough of that this year and last year and the year before that. Because Vera Farmiga was fine in that Liam Neeson movie, or in the movie with Paul Walker. What was it? Running Scared. She was fine in that, but in this movie, she feels really forced. As King Ghidorah's in the movie, yeah, she's frozen under ice. I don't know why. I guess because saying that it's from outer space, they couldn't put aliens in this. Not yet. They're gonna probably do that after the new Empire. We don't know who's gonna be the main villain. There's a lot of other Kongs there, other apes, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I was gonna do this in May, but I'm like, you know what? I got time. I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna rest my feet. And also, foreign cast doesn't mean your movie's good, Hollywood, because like I said, with Mortal Kombat, I'm like, I'm not even interested in the sequel now. I've seen the cast, and I'm like, the only one they added that I like is Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, but the rest of the cast, I didn't care for them in the last movie. I didn't like Sonya Blade. I didn't like the main Asian guy. Ludi Lim was underused. What you call it? Also, Raiden was underused. I looking back, I'm like, I didn't hate the 2021 movie, but if there's going to be more of Jessica McNamee, I don't care about her. Sorry, mate. She's not my Sonya Blade. Bridget Wilson is. She actually did something in that movie, so I can skip it. I'll wait. I'll just wait for Mario 2. That's more my speed. Godzilla's actually sleeping. Max Bornstein, he wrote Kong and Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah. Oh, it could be okay with Caitlin, Karen, Mario 2. Rosalind will be annoying fans. No, Rosalina's. They haven't announced her. They're probably going to put Princess Daisy because that's Luigi's love interest. You got Princess Daisy, Rosalina, Pauline was a cameo in the last film. I like the heartbeat thing. The technical aspects of this movie are definitely well done. I'm very happy minus one won an Oscar because now it proves that any movie, if it has the right budget and it has good effects, it can work. I need some tissue. Hold on. I'm not going to move because I don't want to move this thing. Yeah, at least Vera Farmiga dies in this, so you don't have to see her. That is a cool image. I like this image. Yeah, this is when the movie starts to kick. After 30 minutes of talking, we're getting to the monster action because the only monster action we saw so far was Mothra attacking, the people in the facility. That's about it. Baby Mothra. Yes, thank you for saying that, Sally Hawkins. I don't know what I couldn't figure that out. And the subtitles, it's not a lot of them here because in Dune Part 2 there was a lot, too much. Get a glowing back. Also, it was nice to do a nice in loving memory of uh what was his name? The original actor that played Godzilla, Hiro Nakajima. They did a nice tribute to him at the end of the credits. I was very happy about that. He deserved it. I miss him a lot. See, even the American directors know about the past. You know, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen. I give them credit. They're not just screens all day in the movie. They actually are in the film. I rewatched Mortal Kombat 1995. It still works. Yeah, this woman looks like a Wakanda lady because she's bald. It's not any of the actresses from that because that movie they were busy doing Endgame, and that movie was the biggest thing in the world. That's why movies like this underperformed. This and of course last year's Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. You released at the same time as Barbie. Oh, it was doomed. Any movie that went up against that was just doomed. This year, at least, there is no Barbie. O'Shea looks just like his father, just a little bit lighter. Is that the guy from Get Out? I think that is the guy from Get Out, right? I think that's him. Yeah, the white guy from Get Out, Jesse Bradford, I think, or whatever. Yeah. Does this mean that the sci-fi Red Riding Hood could work? Yeah, if it has the budget and it's not $250 million. You don't need that. People had trouble seeing the movie because they're fighting in the snow. I could see it fine. It's better than Solo, where I could barely see the action because it's so dark you can't see anything. And I disagree with Filmmaster Adam saying this is worse than Rise of Skywalker. No, it's not. It's shorter and it's less painful to get through. That movie was one of the worst things I've ever seen on Disney Plus because it was painful and the hobo ruined the movie for me. No matter what you think of the film, that hobo is being super powered. At least Millie Bobby Brown is not super powered. I don't care for her, but it's only because she was a kid here and also doesn't do anything. The hobo does too much, she does too little. You got to have a balance. Are you going to meet Melissa Hudgens if she goes to Comic Con? Maybe. We're about 34 minutes in. Because if you see this snow, you would think you were watching the movie Day After Tomorrow or 2012 or something. But no, it just. Mhm. Yep, gotcha. Why would he want to meet Anna Taylor-Joy? Well, you never know, Josh. You never know. As long as her line's not 3 hours long. Two hostages? Yeah, because I don't care about this human drama. You don't need it in the movie. That's why her not being in the new film is a blessing. I don't need her in Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire because I don't care about her in the last film. So why would I want her back? I don't. Even Rebecca Medicine, they cut her hair, they made it blonde, and she still looks boring, just like in the last movie. That's the baggage I have to go through with every movie I see in the theater now. There's always one actor that I don't think needs to be there. In Frozen Empire, no, there's nobody that can hurt me in that. Because the last movie I really enjoyed Carrie Coon and McKenna Grace and Finn Wolfhard and even the original cast coming back. This one they're going to be in it more, which is nice for me. I don't care about the nostalgia. Stop complaining about nostalgia when everything is made for nostalgia. Even Dune, if you read the books, that's the nostalgia. Barbie, that's nostalgic. Mario, that's nostalgic. Ninja Turtles, that's nostalgic. Everything that's franchise worthy is nostalgic. Even Fast and the Furious is nostalgic now. The original was over 20 years ago, so it's nostalgic. People got to stop using that as a big nostalgia. Couldn't help Madam Web because nobody cares about her. People care about Godzilla. They care about Spider-Man. They care about Joker. They care about Dune. Nobody cares about Madam Web. And Furiosa hasn't come out yet. That comes out in May. I'll see it. Yes, Josh, I'm going to see it in the theater, not on streaming on Max like a few months later. I'm going to go to the theater and see the desert movie that's under 2.5 hours. There's no way it could be 2.5 hours after Dune. No movie's going to be longer than that unless it's a Scorsese movie or Nolan's next horror movie that he's going to do. Shorter, less is more, guys. That's why when this underperformed, they made sure that the next movie was much shorter and that the human characters were not going to be the focus of the whole film. The score is really good throughout the movie. There's nothing wrong with the score. This is when Ghidorah finally wakes up. Why? Because Vera Farmiga's character blows up the facility and the and cracks the ice, letting the monster loose. You know, like in John Carpenter's The Thing, where the creature's broken out of the ice, or in the stupid prequel to The Thing. Even Rampage had a better cast than this because The Rock alone sold that movie. Him and the monsters, great third act in that movie. Naomi Harris was the only thing you didn't need in the film. Just saying. Because she doesn't do anything. She just talks about what she could do for George. This is a good shot. I like this shot. Yep, there's his electricity from his mouth. And Ghidorah's always been male because he's King Ghidorah. At least you're not saying less budget. I didn't say less budget. I said less running time, less cast, and you don't need $200 million. You can do one with $100 million or less. You don't need 200. That looks great. He looks mean here. See, I can see it just fine on the DVD. It looks great. 3 heads are better than 1. That's a great line. Yeah, the only F-bomb in the movie is about 39 minutes in. Because that summer, a lot of movies were underperforming, just like last year. So history repeats itself. You waste too many franchises in 1 month, and you're going to fail. Especially after Endgame came out and did so much. His wings are huge. He's like really big in this one. They gave the monster some scale, you know? This is what we want to see. We don't want to see people talking. We want to see things happening. Again, conventional weapons don't work on King Ghidorah, dude. He's a giant dragon. This is the year of the dragon. Your DVD Godzilla looks awesome. Yeah, it does. I've had this Blu-ray for at least 5 years, and it still looks great. And yes, I tested the Blu-ray. Last year, I saw the movie and heard the commentary, so... Yeah, plus this is Ghidorah killing a bunch of soldiers. In the original films, the soldiers didn't try to fight him. They knew they stood no chance. He's a giant flying dragon with 3 heads. That's something even Game of Thrones didn't have. Not a giant dragon with 3 heads that shoots electricity. The monsters look great. See this? Yes, it's snowing and it's cloudy, but I could see it. Nobody was complaining about The Empire Strikes Back being in the snow. You know, you could see everything. The movie was very visual. Yep, I'm going to blow you to bits. Watch this. This is great. It's like, wait, what gives? What was that? It reminds me of the effects in Jurassic Park. Remember when with the Brachiosaurus? Here we go. It does remind me of Jurassic Park. I mean, there's so many monsters here. This is a ride, you know, that you experience it. Here we go. Yeah, remember that when Lost World, when they're looking through the window, the T-Rexes? Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. The first fight of the movie, 42 minutes in. This should have killed the pacing for me, but it didn't. Because I get through every movie I want to sit through. Here he comes. Oh, yeah. This is why I watch this movie, guys. Dun, 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 dun. They gave the monsters scale so they don't look cheap. And no, Josh, I didn't see Imaginary because I heard it was horrible. Those creature effects are so bad they keep it in the dark. That looks amazing. This is just like in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster back in the 60s. That's right. I haven't done Pacific Rim. I want to do that one, but I'll wait till May. And I want to do some of the other Godzilla movies. Yeah, he bites Ghidorah's head off. That's what I want to see, guys. That's what I pay a ticket to see. At least they're not cutting away from the monsters fighting. What if Sophia was voiced by Princess Zelda? What if Sophia voiced Princess Zelda? Which Sophia? Woodard? Yep, his tail's glowing. Fire! You missed. That's the original roar, yeah? She should have been dead right there. So the military's still trying to kill these monsters, but it's of no use because again, conventional weapons won't harm these animals. Oh, Woodard, yeah, she has a nice voice. Yep, Ghidorah can fly. He doesn't have arms like the other monsters, but he can fly. That was a pretty cool scene. At least there was some action in it. It kept me awake because if there was another hour of no action, that would have been really bad. We haven't seen Rodan yet or Mothra in its full form yet. That is the guy from Get Out. Yeah, she's the main villain. The girl from the Loud House as Zelda. I didn't see Imaginary. I heard it's horrible. I don't even want to see If, the movie with those imaginary friends. What is with all this imaginary stuff? I want to have real friends, not things that I can't see. I hope we get a Mothra film in the series. Well, they probably will. Mothra got her own series in the 90s. Right below the United States. There she is doing a Zoom call saying, "Oh, these monsters need to preserve no, they don't. They're monsters. They don't. They want to just be left alone." Hmm. If it was an accident, I could let it go, but she purposely let these monsters do. No, you're not. You're stupid. They did the same thing in Venom, and I'm like, I'm sick of that. Oh, I'm saving the world by letting things get destroyed. Yeah, you're stupid. Yeah, to sell tickets. Yeah, imagination is good, but Beekeeper had more imagination than Imaginary. At least I could see the action. It was R-rated. It didn't hold back. David Ayer did the movie he wanted to do, and that's why it did well. Gee, a good movie made money, and yet a bad movie like Morbius and Madam Web didn't. Yeah, because nobody wants to see garbage in the theater. We can see that at home. Netflix has a lot of bad films. So does Tubi. So does Disney Plus. There's the Muto. There's Godzilla from the first film, Kong, and there's also a mammoth. I don't know what that thing is called. My choice for Zelda would probably be Caitlin or who's another one? or Zoe Dosh, because she hasn't played a princess yet. Because technically, Caitlin was a princess in Rosalind, so technically, if you want to be technical, the movie that she did that movie a few years ago, but it was on streaming. It wasn't in theaters. Mm-hmm. So those are the hieroglyphics. There's Rodan. Who was Katie Glenn? So Katie Glenn. She doesn't do anything. She pressed a button. Wow. She's basically as useless as the little girl from RoboCop 3 that can click things and then things happen. That's plot convenience, guys. No, it won't. Exactly. Killing all these people with monsters is not going to bring back your son. I'm sorry, it won't. You got to move on. I lost a lot of family members in the past 10 years, but I have to keep moving. I lost I lost my grandparents from Florida. I lost my aunt, my uncle, and I got to keep going. I agree. No, this isn't the way. Mando is the way. I agree with that, Charles Dance. You're padding the running time. With Godzilla versus Kong, the new Empire, I don't need them to explain where all these monsters come from. Just don't make her Princess Daisy, and I'm fine because you got Anna Taylor Joy already. You don't need another person British to play or part British to play uh, another Mario character. Just get somebody American or Canadian. That's something different. Or hell, somebody that's new, an unknown. You don't have to get somebody big for every name. There we go. This is when Rodan shows up. I could take the headphones off for now. Rodan flies over Mexico and oh, you meant Caitlin as Zelda, not Kathy Glenn. I don't know who that is. Zelda's supposed to be young because she's a young princess that sleeps throughout most of the Zelda franchise. Here comes Rodan. He comes out of a volcano on his own, by the way. This one was not woken up by Verfamiga. There he is. He comes out of a volcano, kind of like a Pokemon, like Moltres. See, they do a close up of the monster, so you get to see it. They don't have to hide it behind a building or cut away like they did with the 2014 movie. Again, I know who he is. Big bird. It's not a bird. It's a pterodactyl or a pteranodon. It's in the species of flying dinosaurs. Lizards. It's not a bird. They say, "Oh, Rodan's a bird." No, he's a dinosaur. He's like a pterosaur. It's not a bird. If Naya played Amy, it would. You could do worse for Princess Daisy like Emily Mortimer. No, she's too old. You got to get somebody at least in their 20s or 30s to play, because Anna's like in her late 20s. So like she's like 27 now. That's a good age, not 50. I think that's a little bit too old. That's more like a queen's voice. You got to get age appropriate actors, because you don't want somebody 40 years old voicing a kid. I mean, this isn't the 90s anymore. Rodan totals Mexico like completely with his wings. I think the effects are good in the movie. Because Mexico gets attacked by they get earthquakes and volcanic eruptions all the time. That's why I would never live in a country where there's a volcano. I want to be safe. I don't want to live in an area where there like any minute a mountain can explode lava all over my house. No, hell no. I'd rather deal with the sun. At least the sun, you can avoid the sun. You can't avoid a volcanic eruption. The sun, I'm avoiding the sun today. I'm right in my room. Again, those missiles are not going to do anything. That's awesome. Yep, he destroyed those jets with his wings, with his talons. Again, that's not going to do anything. Nope. He ate him. Yep, he ate him. That's great. That was good. He ate him. Yeah, he just chopped them up like the giant claw. What was this movie's budget? It wasn't $200 million, even though there's a lot of CGI in the movie. Yeah, it was the lowest grossing. I know. It's 170 to 200 million dollars. So yeah, so probably the effects was 170 million, and the other 30 million was the cast because they got such big name actors. You don't need big name actors for this. You don't. When is The Rock going to show up in Godzilla versus Kong 3? You know, because he just did Rampage just a few years ago. That's an awesome shot. Boom. See, they show it. They don't cut away. Crash landing on the water. Her voice is aggressive, but it's a feminine taste. But maybe the target for Joker did this movie. Yeah, and I could see everything. I know they had the military in the 98 remake, but that worked because Sergeant O'Neill does something. He's an active character. He's not just standing in the background. We're an hour in, so we're halfway through the movie. See, Millie does nothing. Yeah, just like I expected. That's cool. Yep, Rodan's down for the count for now. He'll be back. Yeah, the Admiral was in the first movie. Again, that's a reference to the original movie. Remember the original film? Yeah. I do like the references because it's not every 2 seconds. Like in other movies. Yep, that's a nice that's a nice nod to the 1954 movie. And they also reference it in Godzilla versus Destroyer. I'm going to get through Joker 2. I'm going to see it, Josh. Nothing's going to stop me from going to the theater. There is a worse Joker movie out there with a trans actor. Yeah, it's called The People's Joker. If you see that, that's going to hurt you more. Yeah, because it's not even a real woman. It's a thing. I'm going to just say that. I'm not going to I don't want to get canceled, so yeah, look it up. The People's Joker. It came out I think last year in 2022. It's way worse. I'd rather sit through Joaquin Phoenix being the Joker for the rest of my life than ever see the People's Joker because I'm not into those kind of people. Sorry. I'll take Lady Gaga. At least Lady Gaga's a woman. She's not a one of them. French military guy from the 98 film. I'm surprised that didn't hurt. No, it didn't hurt because Jean Reno was the French Secret Service and he does something. He's an active character. He's not passive and just looking at screens all day. Nope, gotcha. I love this. Yep, he attacked him from behind or from the side. I'm gonna drown you. This is fun to rewatch. I hadn't watched this since last year. How long is Damsel? It's like, let me check. An hour and 47 minutes. Two, one. Nuked. Doesn't kill them though. Violence against girls, or Josh, you don't know that yet. We'll see. So all the fish are dead. It didn't kill Ghidorah. Godzilla bit its head off, but that's about it. No, not yet. Movie's not over. Behind the Mask of Alice Cooper, I haven't seen that. I'm gonna see Behind the Mask of Leslie Vernon. I want to see Ghidorah's head can regrow in this one. In this continuity, cut one off one head, another appears like a Hydra. That is a cool effect. That's a cool image of Ghidorah in the background. Now we're back in Arizona. There's a giant spider, yeah. Now all the monsters are waking up. Mm-hmm. At least the title's not misleading. There is monsters in this movie. Mothra cocoon site, yeah. You might see some of them in the new movie. Joe Morton, yeah, he's in the movie too. At least this universe is still alive because the DCU is gone for a while until next year. The new 10-year plan. Hopefully that works this time. Don't make it so somber this time. As Mothra. It's evolving. There's the moon. No fairies, but they do have the song for Mothra. That was cool to hear in the theater. Here we go. Oda Mosura Dokanta Kuya Indomu. Yeah, I love hearing this, man. There's a nice nod to the 64 the Mothra movie. Hamba hamba huya. Look at those beautiful wings, man. Dogu tanga Zakuya. Love Mothra is one of my favorite monsters in this whole franchise. I don't give a damn about Millie Bobby Brown. I care more about Mothra because she is important to Godzilla's legacy. She got her own movie, which I didn't see until I was an adult, And then Godzilla versus Mothra is still my favorite of the entire franchise, even more than the original, mainly because I love Mothra so much, and the fairies are cute, and it's got great effects. Yeah, it's got a little shaky cam in it, but it's a turning point. Ah, that's all I do. I cry every second. No, go back to Mothra, flying gracefully in the sky. Joe Morton, yeah, he was in Speed. He's in this movie in a cameo, basically. The wings, when she opens her wings like that, is so majestic. It's so cool. Supergirl, it depends with the fans. Yeah, I hope that she can be done well because the last movie she was in, The Flash, it was underused. Even if Mothra never gets, she dies in this, but the thing is that, Josh, these monsters come back. They resurrect all the time. Mothra dies in Godzilla versus Mothra, and then two babies form out of the egg. They always come back. See, this is interesting. The Asian culture mixed into here, it works. Asians are very big on family. I know. Yes, sure. Dragons are cool. This is the year of the dragon. That's why I had to do this, Josh. You should do it too if you have this movie, or if you have any movies with dragons. Even if you watch Game of Thrones, there are dragons in that. I don't know why Doolittle had a dragon, but whatever. Dragons are cool. Damsel has a dragon in it. Shrek has a dragon in it. Dungeons and Dragons. That was fun. That's a cool. Hmm. Yeah, I know. See, Ghidorah's backstory is pretty cool. He has a different backstory, but they always say that he's an alien. It's an alien dragon from outer space. Yes, sir. Yes, Ghidorah. It's not Ghidorah or King Ghidorah or Monster Zero. He has lots of names. Hell, in one version they call him. They say Invasion of Astro Monster, and they never call him the Astro Monster. That's cool. He said gonorrhea. No, there's the spider. This is similar to Destroy All Monsters. That mammoth, I want to know more about that mammoth or mastodon, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Why would I do anything with dragons? Because it's part of Asian culture, Josh. I'm gonna do something with a dragon in May. I only have this one on digital, so dragons wouldn't count on my channel. It will for me. Mecha Ghidorah. Yeah, that's from Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Hmm. I know. I was there. Yeah, that's why you're stupid. Your character's stupid, Vera Farmiga. You're like, we're gonna pollinate the earth and we're gonna make it better. No, they're monsters. They will destroy. What do you think a monster does if they're big? They're gonna break things and kill things. Well, you should know what he is. Gator was never a good guy. Listen, everything that really Bobby Brown's is like a boy. Where's your long hair? Oh yeah, you chopped it off. Hell, the girl in the Loud House looks better than her, and she's almost the same age. Yeah, I think Sophia's going to be 20 in this month, not in the summer or whatever. Yeah, she's better. She chopped her hair off because Luna in the cartoon has short hair, but she still looks beautiful. Sophia Woodard. She can sing. There's the rainy scenes from the remake. The acting is fine mostly. And showing emotion is not a weakness. I've cried in a lot of podcasts. Don't worry, I won't do it here. I might get chills, but a little congested. There's the sky beaming up. It's like when Captain Marvel shows up in Endgame. It's a glorious sight, guys. I don't know why people got against her. I really don't understand. Brie Larson can act. She won an Oscar years ago. It is the year of the dragon, and I'm going to do some movies with dragons and podcasts with movies with dragons, like the original Ghidorah. That's a beautiful image. That's awesome. The man behind the mask is the theme song, yeah, from the Jason. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because Mothra's wings, her essence can, yeah, symbiotic, except not like, yeah, because Mothra's energy goes into him, like in some of the one of the other films. I do have Lord of the Rings. That has a dragon. Well, The Hobbit has a dragon. Lord of the Rings doesn't. It has the elephants and Harry Potter. That's another one that has dragons. Well, the later films, Deathly Hallows has it, not the first one. But it counts. Anything with a dragon counts, even if it's a sequel down the road. I've done plenty of sequels way before the first one. Look at Lethal Weapon. I haven't even done the first two or four. Because Sally Hawkins died in the Ghidorah scene, and I forgot when she died. I guess when he hit the plane or helicopter or whatever. Hmm. I got to lie down a little bit because we still got another at least 40 minutes or so of the movie. It's a long movie, but yeah, I'm going to get through it. At least the next movie is way shorter than this one because they cut a lot of the fat of this one and made it shorter. That's why it worked. And the new one is also an hour and 55. It's shorter than this one because the cast is smaller, which is good. We don't need 35 actors in a monster movie. It's going to pad it out. Extras, we get it. They run from things. I get that. But, you don't need 35 human characters. This isn't Dune or Star Wars or Star Trek. You can have less characters. Mm-hmm. Wait. Even though fortune cookies are from China, not Japan. There's also Dragon Wars. There's Dungeons and Dragons. The Honor Among Thieves. You got How to Train Your Dragon. There's a lot of dragon movies, Josh. A lot. There's plenty to choose from. It's not like there's like two dragon movies. No, there's a lot. Dragonheart. They have that. You don't have to own a movie to watch it. You can see it on TV or stream it. I do it all the time. Nobody cares about her story. That's why the new movie isn't going to even be with her. And that's fine. I don't need it. Godzilla versus X Kong should be about Godzilla and Kong, not 35 other Brit characters that we don't care about. Dan Stevens is probably going to die at the end. We all know that. He's not the beast here. He's going to get his. He's going to get his. These people are one off characters, usually, one or two off characters. Washington, D.C. This scene is dark, but it's not. It's still not as dark as Solo. Solo was purposely made in dark rooms because you got a director that's not an action director. Like Ron Howard does more serious stuff. He doesn't really do a lot of action films. Lord and Miller would have done better, but they had to get fired. Why? Because they were making the movie too comedic. They didn't want Spider Verse. They wanted more, Rogue One. And I didn't like Rogue One. I was bored. That's longer than this, and it's boring because Felicity Jones can't carry a movie, obviously. Rogue One sold because it's a Star Wars movie. That's why. We're an hour and 24 minutes in. Is Bowser considered a dragon? He breathes fire. It counts. He's like a turtle and a dragon. He doesn't fly, but it's close enough. And also, there's dragons in Mario. There's a giant dragon, Game of Thrones type dragon in Mario Odyssey. So, yeah, they're everywhere, Josh. April, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to figure out something for the spring. There's a hieroglyphic. Yeah, that looks cool. It's 1233. Okay. There's hieroglyphics. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he goes, he touches him and says, "I'm sorry, old friend," and then he dies. But it's a sacrifice like in the original 1954 movie. There's a lot of nods to that one. Except this movie's not as serious in tone because that movie was a drama. There's a little bit of humor, but it's very serious. This movie's very, it has not goofy, but it's not like completely serious. It's got some jokes in there and some other things as well. I've done Mario already, yeah. Enter the Dragon doesn't count. It's just a title. There's no dragon in the movie. It's a metaphor. But um there's also Dragon Ball Z, Josh. There's dragons in that too. You've seen most of those. I'm gonna watch some of them in May for Akira Toriyama's memory because I miss him a lot. One of the greatest anime creators of all time passed away the same year as the Oscars. You know, where Haruo Nakajima won. Hayao Miyazaki finally won another Oscar. I knew it was gonna win. The Boy and the Heron. I knew it. I had a feeling because Miyazaki's a legend. Hmm. And it's hand drawn animation, no CGI. It's all hand drawn because Japan believes in keeping the old things, old school animation alive and well. Hmm. I said I would like to see Caitlyn in like a disaster movie, like a Twister, except not a crappy sequel like Twisters, which I'm avoiding it. Josh, don't ever mention that in my podcast because that's banned from my channel. I will never watch that movie in the theater or stream it because I'm like, why? The original is such a classic. We're never going to top it. Your effects aren't going to look as better as the ILM effects from '96. Those still hold up. And Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt sold that movie. Even though they bicker, they had something. This remake won't have it. This sequel won't even be close. Hmm. The guns, they've stopped. Fenway Park. There's a mammoth. Yeah, she's staring at a screen again. Yeah, I haven't seen her do that 5 times in this movie already. I'm sorry, I'm not into kid characters that don't do anything. The girl in Wonka did more than this. The black girl in Wonka. You saw the tablet's broken. It's got a shattered glass. Let me see here. Medium. There's not much more disaster Kanan can do if you see Lanky with. Yeah, I'm saying like I said, a disaster movie of some kind, but not a tornado, something different, like a hurricane or something, or a flooding, or a giant blizzard. Are you going to do Twister? Yeah. To avoid the new one, I will do the 1996 movie somehow. I'll probably just, if they have it on YouTube, I'll see it there because I can't watch the Blu-ray because if I hear any copyrighted music, YouTube is going to lynch me. Yeah, in this version, he doesn't destroy his notes and research because, you know, Watanabe at least gives a good performance here because he's the only Japanese actor in this whole movie. Because in Godzilla versus Kong, he has a son they never mentioned here, and he dies real quick. Like he's so forgettable. Yep, he's going into a underwater, like like submersible in a way, and here we go. We're about an hour and a half into the movie. Yeah, the movie should have been close to being over, but we still got the final battle with the monsters in the third act after Godzilla wakes up. That's why I didn't go out today because I wanted to do this podcast, get it done. Here we go. This is the only subtitled scene in the whole movie, but it makes sense. It's short too. It doesn't go on for 20 minutes. Like Dune, I was begging them to just speak English already or stay quiet. I don't need you to preach the movie. Just let me enjoy it. It's a really good visual too. And this one is different. It's not a remake. It's not a ripoff of the 1954. He's under it. He's underwater, but it's in like basically like a volcanic ash. Instead of, am I gonna get the Mario 4K? I don't know. I don't have a 4K player yet. I'll eventually get one. Yeah, it's sacrificed just like the 54 film, except it's done with volcanic. It's heat instead of underwater time. It's a very authentic scene. The score is really good. It's got atmosphere and ambiance, and yeah, he knows he's gonna die, so he's like, "Let me just say my final words." And there's no romance in the movie, which is good. There's already enough characters you don't care about. Yeah, sayonara, old friend. See, 3 words, not 35. It's subtle and it's short. Yeah. Goodbye, Sarazawa. This movie had the guts to pull this off, to kill off a main character from the 2014 movie halfway through the movie. If this was the original, it'd be over after this because Godzilla dies and then they end the movie. at 95 minutes, not 2 hours and 12. He did it. Here we go. Here comes the score. Dun, 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 dun. This rendition was really good. I had chills in the theater hearing this. Chills. That score's gonna live forever, man. Long live Akira Fukube's score, man. Have I seen Edward Scissorhands? Yes. Sleepy Hollow, no. Yep. I'm gonna breathe in the sky. This score was so amazing hearing this in the theater. It was a pretty empty theater because this was before the pandemic happened. But then when it's amazing, man. I love the score in this movie. They respected the original film. Yep, he's headed that way. There's this giant tail. Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. I'm not looking for an Oscar worthy best picture. I just want to be entertained. That's it. I'm looking up some movies with dragons. I wrote down a couple of them, Josh. Let me write some soon. I don't have to say it. That's a good line. I like that. Horny carnivores. Oh yeah. Exactly. Stop looking at screens and just do something. The greater good. We know. Well, Millie's not in the new movie, so you gotta they finished her arc, so she didn't have to come back. Because like I said, this movie would be an hour and 45 minutes if you had just cut some of the filler in the beginning. The first 20 minutes could have been trimmed. Just saying, guys. Again, more staring because that's what you want to see in a monster movie. Edward Scissorhands, I haven't seen it in years. I have to rewatch it in the spring. Dunkin' Donuts product placement, but again, it's short. It's not like in Modern Web where the whole ending, the whole ending is in front of a Pepsi Cola sign. Why? I don't know. Again, she's the character from RoboCop 3. Just presses buttons. The little girl in that movie that doesn't do anything. That's a cool looking image. Yeah. Again, this should have killed her, and nobody would miss her in this movie. I'm not gonna miss her in the new one. Or when I see Ghostbusters and I have the same cast from the last movie. They didn't like kill off any characters that we liked. I don't want Stranger Things. It's not going to be back for another year, so I cared more about Matthew Broderick and Audrey than this girl. At least they're adults and not kids. Here we go. Despite my problems with the movie, I still enjoy it. You know, the monster action. Mm-hmm. There we go. I'm stomping in yet. The other disaster films are Shipwrecks, Epidemics. Well, I don't want to do Epidemics because it's too close to home. St. Caleb. Yeah. Yep, for Sarazawa, like for Frodo. Winona Ryder's way prettier, yeah, than Keira Knightley, definitely. Here we go. Fight scenes in the movie are awesome. Yeah. And unlike the sequel trilogy, it's not boring. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The Last Jedi is longer than this movie. Way longer. I cared more about Haley Steinfeld more in Bumblebee because she was likable and cute. And the movie was under 2 hours. You could have a good spectacle, but have a character I care about as a lead female. This doesn't count for female month because the two females in this movie are useless. Zhang Ziyi is fine. The black woman, at least she gives orders and does something. Yep, they got obliterated. That would have been good. As her as Amy Rose would be adorable because she has a young voice. Square garden. I had to say that because it's not a comedy. There's some comedic things in here to make it not a drama. You know. course not. She went to go film another season of Stranger Things and a bunch of Netflix movies I don't care about. The epidemic genre isn't for you. No, I'm saying like, things about viruses. I don't want to hear about that. There could be an influenza or something like that, but not something like COVID. Don't ever do another COVID movie. They've done enough. Nobody wants to be reminded of these past 4 years. Bumblebee doesn't have a dragon, but you could do it for Asian month, Josh. The Transformers are based on an Asian toy, and Haley is Asian. So I did a podcast again. There's Mothra. Yeah. All right. She finally is in the movie. Spider web. Well, it's not a spider, but caterpillar webbing. Yep, right through the glass building. They destroy buildings in this one. Oh, yes, they do. So this Mothra has some pretty sharp claws. There's Rodan. Mm-hmm. At least Vera Farmiga's character dies, so we won't see her in Godzilla X Kong. And in these movies, when characters dies, they stay dead. They don't come back like a Fast and the Furious sequel. You always say I can't, Josh, but you can. You just don't want to. I'm man enough to do a podcast without any fear. I did this one, and this is almost over 2 hours long. Yeah, I can't blame her. See, O'Shea Jackson, he gets it. He knows what movie he's in. I run away too. Yep. Gee, I'm gonna run because Matthew Broderick did something in the '98 remake. I mean, he put an electrical cord in Godzilla's mouth. Billy doesn't do anything like that. Sorry. Yep. Your home's gonna get totaled. Yep, electrical power. That's awesome. Lightning with my hands. It still looks better than Rise of Skywalker. I will take this any day over that because that was a CGI disaster. That was sensory overload. It was like Pirates of the Caribbean 3, where there's too much going on. This has a lot going on, but it's still shorter. Of course, I can review it or live stream with anything. He was good in The Lion King, yeah. We're almost done. We're an hour and 49 minutes in. That's when Ghostbusters will end. Yeah, Mothra gets him. She gets him. Yep, take that. Scratch her right in the face. I'm the queen of the skies. Yep, Rodan wants to bite. Mothra said, "Yep, right through you. Spear right right in the chest." That was awesome. She used her stinger. That was awesome. Yeah, Mothra looks a little bit bee-ish in this movie, but she's a moth. They gave her some characteristics of a bee as well because they have a stinger. I don't know if a moth has a stinger, but it's a movie, you know. This is a different Mothra. I have a Stranger Tides on Blu-ray and the fifth one. Again, Square Garden. Ghostbusters, I got one girl in there. Yeah, again. She's in the bathtub. What is this, Age of Ultron? Get in the tub. Yeah, that's still a better movie because, again, that movie I cared about the cast. Kissing her hand's not going to bring her back. They don't even do the CPR scene like in Jurassic Park. See, those kids, I cared about them. They did something in the plot, and they got wrecked in that movie. This girl barely gets a scratch on her head. Why? Because she has plot armor. That's 100 on Stranger Tides premiere. I don't know. She went to go see that. Yep, flying right into the sky. You saw? Now he turns red and fires at Ghidorah. This is more like Spider-Man 3 that is pretty underrated. It's got problems, like I said, but it's still entertaining enough. There's Mothra. Yeah, rules. I don't have rules, Josh. I'm unfiltered. I'm just not going to do adult films or religious movies because I'm just not, it's not my thing. I want to entertain my fans, not bore them to tears. See, her essence goes on him. His body's glowing red like in Godzilla versus Destroyer. There's a post-credit scene here too. I'll show, and then I can stop. They try to make Kyle Chandler like the new Bryan Cranston. Granted, they don't kill him off like Bryan Cranston, but are you going to do Stranger Tides? I don't know. It's just those first three movies are too long, man. Those Pirates of the Caribbean movies should have been an hour and 45 minutes, not 2.5 hours. All of them are too long. Yeah, I'm going to die. That's what she's going to say. Yeah, just go without me. You're not going to be judged, Josh. Everybody's going to have a thing to say. That's how it is. This is basically the running time of the remake. We know the Pirates movies are too long. The shortest movie is the fifth one, and by then people stopped caring. It was an hour and 50 minutes instead of 2.5 hours. It knew how it needed to be shorter. 2.5 hours is too long for a Disney movie. It is. I'm not watching a Marvel movie, guys. I'm watching a Disney film. Not every Disney movie needs to be 2.5 hours. This is the end of her story. I feel nothing because Vera Farmiga is the reason why Ghidorah got loose in the first place. She gets what she deserves. Yep, bye. I like the actress, it's just she was wasted in this. Yep, I'm gonna eat you. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, this is why Godzilla's still king. Even a box office flop can't take him down. I'm not gonna judge anymore, Josh. Just do what you want. I'm finishing this podcast. We're not done yet. We still got a few more minutes. Yep, Mothra's essence right in your face. Like Super Saiyan Godzilla. Yep, he incinerated this guy. Only one of Ghidorah's heads stays alive. Only one. So they can bring him back. Never know. Yep, right in the chest. Wow, the city is completely destroyed. It's like Man of Steel levels, except these are monsters, so they have an excuse. They're big. Yep, that statue is totaled. Yep, you got Ghidorah's head right in his mouth. Again, this is still my franchise. My name always comes first above all else. Yep, boom, baby. The other monsters show up to pay their respects. A lot of lives are lost. There's the mammoth. That thing looks cool. Formula 51 was a reward, and I could do a podcast for that. Just not this month because I have other movies planned. There's the Muto from the first movie. One survived. Rodan. That's right, Bao. Spider. We're 2 hours in, so this is the longest podcast I've done in a while. My next one will be a lot shorter, don't worry. because Frozen is only 95 minutes. I'm gonna probably postpone it or do it early. I'll probably do it Thursday or Friday. My movie, people. And that's it. And the movie's over. That was Godzilla King of the Monsters. Still very entertaining. And the ending is abrupt. Because after the 2 hours, you're done. That was fun. Let me fast forward. The score is good at the end. So I would recommend rewatching it. Happy Year of the Dragon. Let me fast forward all this. Get to the end credits. Because we got a lot to fast forward through. We got about 10 minutes of end credits. There's all these blurbs and all these news reels about what's happening. Don't worry, Millie's not coming back. Yeah, that was Bradley Whitford from. I said Jesse Bradford. No, Bradley Whitford. He was in Get Out and RoboCop 3, ironically, years ago. And stop. Skip a little bit more. Fast forward a little bit more. No, not skip. Whatever. That's enough, folks. You got it. I do like the nice nod to Haru Nakajima at the end credits, but I didn't want to go for 10 minutes, so I finished the movie, so that's the important thing. So thanks for watching, guys. Acknowledge me. I'll do another podcast real soon. Not tomorrow. I got to do the laundry. But this is an underrated film. I do like it for what it is. It's not the best one of the four, but I don't hate it. It's definitely no Eternals. That I hate it with a passion. I'll never do a podcast for that. That is guaranteed. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.